Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're going to go ahead and go over these problems that I assigned you at the end of class yesterday. The first one that you were assigned was 5/6 plus 1/2. 5/6 plus 1/2. I've set it up here with my fraction bars. I have one whole, and then below it I put my 5/6, and then I put my 1/2. This tells me my answer is going to be more than 1. I know it's going to be more than 1 because it goes longer than the one whole. Now, this is what I can do. I can take and start just putting things here and trying to figure out what goes where and use those if I want. I'm not going to. We're going to go back and look at the actual mathematic way to do this. We're going to use the skills we learned last week of finding the least common denominator. Our denominators are 6 and 2. I'm going to get out my multiplication chart. I'm going to look at the row that starts with 6 and the row that starts with 2. And I'm going to go down until I find the first number that they both have in common. Since I don't have one right here to show you, I'm going to write it out. 6, 12, 18, 2, 4, 6. Oh, look. 6 is the least common denominator. Haley, you keep working on the test. 6 is the least common denominator. Now, I'm going to change both of these things into fractions that have a denominator of 6. Well, 5/6 already has a denominator of 6, so I'm going to leave 5/6 like it is. 1/2, however, does not yet have a denominator of 6. What I can do is I can take 1/2 and see how many sixths fit underneath it, which 1/2 would be 3/6 if I look up here. Okay, but I'm not always going to have these fraction pieces to use. No, I'm not. So I need to know how to find equivalent fractions, which is something we did as well. We're going to take 1/2, and we're going to change the way it's written so that it has a denominator of 6, but we are not going to change the value. So we're going to multiply the fraction 1/2 by 1. Because anytime you multiply something by 1, it stays the same. So what I'm going to choose is 2 times what is 6? 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So if I multiply this fraction by 3 over 3, 3 over 3 equals 1. Anytime a fraction has the same numerator as denominator, it equals 1. So 3 over 3 equals 1. So now I'm multiplying 1/2 times 3 over 3. And it's going to give me 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3. So now I have 5/6 plus 3/6. I can now add these fractions. 5/6 plus 3/6. When you add fractions, you never add the denominators. The denominator stays the same. And I have the fraction 8/6. 8/6. So, that is a special type of fraction which we call improper. That is an improper fraction. It's an improper fraction because my numerator is larger than my denominator. We don't like that. Not when we're... Jordan, pay attention. We don't like that when we're supposed to be adding and subtracting fractions. Why do I see bodies walking around? So we need to change this 8/6 into a fraction that is not improper. Now you've done this a little bit of this last year. Okay? A little bit of it last year. And that's fine. We can divide our 6 into our 8. A fraction is a division problem. This is actually a problem. This says 8 divided by 6. A fraction is a division problem. 8 divided by 6. So we're going to do 8 divided by 6. Goes in one time. So I get 1 remainder 2. Which, if I change this now, it's going to be 1 2/6. However, we're not going to leave 2/6 like it is, are we? Because 2/6 is the same as 1/3. 2/6 is the same as 1/3. So my answer would be 1 1/3. 1 1/3. Haley, you ignore me, Haley, and you keep working on that test. 1 1/3. Okay, so that's the first one. Isabella, go check on your sister. 1/4 plus 2/3. All right, so we have 1/4. 2/3. And our answer is going to be just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Less than 1. A tad bit less than 1. And my Tube of You page, I'm posting a ton of videos today on there. So if you're having questions on how to do this, there's plenty there. Okay? So on the Tube of You. We cannot add these because they do not have the same denominator. They do not have the same denominator. I need to find the least common denominator. I did that last week. We had an assignment on it. So I'm going to take my denominators of 4 and 3. I'm actually going to look at my multiplication chart. And as Sophia nicely told me, the answer is 12. 4, 8, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. My common denominator is 12. My common denominator is 12. Hold for a moment. I'm going to take those away. If you don't, get your sister down and clean her up. All right, so we have these denominators 12. I need to change 1/4 into something that equals 12 without changing the value. Now, if I have my pieces, I can see that 1/4 equals 3/12. If I don't have my pieces, I need to multiply 1/4 by a fraction that equals 1. By a fraction that equals 1. So a fraction that has the same numerator as denominator. What did I multiply by 4 to get 12? Bring her here, please. Come here. Oh. You gotta stop crying. All right. So I need to multiply by a fraction that equals 1. I ask myself, 4 times what equals 12? Myself says 3. So I have to multiply by 3 as my denominator. I must also multiply by 3 in my numerator. I already know 1/4 equals 3/12. I'm proving it here. 1/4 equals 3/12 because I multiplied 1/4 by 1. I just multiplied 1/4 times 1 equals 3/12. Because anytime a fraction has the same numerator as denominator, then it equals 1. Now I need to do the same thing with 2/3. So I could take 1/3, and I could see how many 12ths are in 1/3. Three. And 1/3 equals 4/12. So I know this has to be a 4 over here. So I got to figure out, what do I multiply by over here so that I have a denominator of 12? Well, if I look, 3 times what is 12? my answer is 4. If I multiply my denominator by 4, I must also multiply my numerator by 4. And if 3 times 4 is 12, 2 times 4 is 8. Even Liliana says 8. So now we have 3/12 plus 8/12. We can add those together and we get 11/12. 11/12. And lastly, the one I last here wants to do is going to be 7/10 plus 1/2. So 7/10 plus 1/2. I have a feeling I'm going to be more than 1 here. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. Wait a minute. 1/2 plus 5/10 equals 1. So what if I did 2 more tenths? This tells me I'm going to have 1 and 2/10. 1 and 2/10. 1 and 2/10. So I can tell you my answer here is 1 and 2/10. Just by using my pieces. However, that would be the wrong answer because I need to simplify. I need to simplify 2/10. We did an assignment last week called Another Simplifying Fractions. Some of you, if your last name's a bird, pay attention. Some of you didn't do as well the first time we did it. That's why I gave you an extra opportunity to do it. We're going to take our fraction. Our numerator is 2. Our denominator is 10. And we're going to find the factors of each one. For 2, it's 1 and 2. Because 2 is prime. For 10, here, take these to Mama. Yeah. For 10, we have 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. So these are our factors of 2, 1 and 2, because it's prime. And 10, 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. We find the first one they have. We find the biggest one they have in common, which is 2. So now I know that I can divide both my numerator and denominator by that greatest common factor. Again, I'm dividing by 1. I'm dividing by 2 over 2. So this is going to simplify to 1 and 1/5. Just a minute, sweetheart. And I can check it by looking at that. So it is 1 and 1/5. 1 and 1/5. Yes, you can have your snacks. And I know I skipped one, and there's a reason why, Chloe, but... Boom! Shakalaka, I gotta turn this off!